Thousand green? Let's go. Okay.
There's a line that emerged in Destiny 1 that wasn't planned for, but is very deliberate by the person who put it in the game, and is very resonant for Destiny players, and resonant for me as a person. And that line is, Guardians make their own fate. That still gives me goosebumps.
I'm glad
For
that
me, that has
he's
sort of
talking to us.
become a touch point
Yes,
for the Destiny
it is,
story.
Because he is the
Again and
director.
Yeah,
again,
the new director now.
Go left,
external forces come and try to impose a fate upon you and humanity. And again, you show them that they can't do that. We make our own fate. That's not just a powerful theme of Destiny, it's also a powerful theme for us as people, as both developers and as humanity. We make our own fate.
I saw her, the expansion lead, Katarina. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
She was asking
When you're
for a
talking about
Pantheon
10
carry.
years of story, there's a lot of
Oh,
stuff
was she
crammed in
actually?
there, and there's a lot of things that we could do and could talk about. But as storytellers, the hardest part isn't coming up with the ideas, it's knowing which ones are the important ones. We want to tell a story that makes you, the player, feel like
Destiny is
all
nice.
of that time that you invested, we saw you, and we want to
Yeah,
give you the
it is.
experience that you've been waiting for.
We looked at everything we had. We laid it all out, like whiteboards and like everything.
We were
Jesus.
trying to look for a theme that felt
Redacted.
resonant, not just
Yeah.
for this story, but for Destiny
Definitely
as a
gonna be going
whole.
Oh shit.
And the theme that we kept
That's
coming
new.
back to was purpose and fate. And
The
that's
fuck is this?
what
Look at all the
this
ghosts.
story
That's
is
fun.
about. Not just for ourselves as the
Do you
player,
want it?
but also for our
Poison it?
characters.
I used to think
Oh,
I'd give anything to bring you
Oh
back.
yeah.
I cried quite a few times
damn, he sounds
doing
so
those
different.
scripts because
Yeah.
I treated it with the love of a fan. Every
It's,
time I opened a
what's his
script,
name?
I was like, what would I want to see?
Yeah, this is on
What would
Netflix.
I want to
Yeah.
hear?
Okay.
You get to see their emotional journey, the struggle of how do we defeat the witness.
Mega
I'm
Mind.
not sure that cutscene with the ghost coming out. We were told that like we were told that happened. I guess we didn't see it. Now we get to see it.
The witness sees itself as the one true God. So it's come to the traveler because it needs the power of the traveler's light to
Oh my
finish this
god.
vision.
Venom.
What? The...
Its goal is salvation. Why don't you want that?
Be reborn.
Our mission is to make sure that we can prevent it from getting the light, the thing that it needs, in order to make it all happen.
It's
What the
finally
fuck?
confronted
What
the
the fuck?
traveler, and here we are, thorns in its side, a blip on its radar,
Bruh.
trying to make a difference.
You're gonna speak to the witness, and the witness is gonna shine a light on some things. And
Speak
you
to him,
wonder,
okay.
like, what would it be like? What would it be like to be a disciple of the witness?
Your
Oh,
guardian's
shit.
use has yet to be determined.
No way.
We're
He's
in
gonna
need
offer
of a
us.
God killer.
Oh my god.
Every time you hear the witness,
That's
you're
me,
not
oh my
just
god,
hearing
Slayer,
one
that's
voice,
me,
you're
that's
hearing
me.
whispers in the background,
Oh my
you're
god,
hearing all of these
Slayer.
other textures.
You're still resisting.
That's
You
so
can
sick.
feel
He offers
a
us to be a
subtext
disciple.
sometimes where the real witness comes through, or at least things that it doesn't want you to know about it come through.
There is only suffering!
What?
Putting characters
Holy
into
shit.
pressure cookers is what
What is
storytellers
that?
do best. And I can't imagine a more intense pressure cooker than it's the end of the world. If we fail, everything is frozen forever, and only
Bruh.
we can do it. It's just the handful of us inside of a god.
This environment is so sick.
Inside of a god, by the way. Is what she
There were a
said.
couple
travel.
of themes that we
I
had when
guess.
we started on the Feel Hard.
Yep.
The two main ones that I remember were Surreal and Shattered to Spire.
Seeing how they put a tiny little guardian at the beginning of this vast journey that's spreading out in front of you really put into perspective the scale that we needed to hit in order to make the Pale Heart look and feel dangerous and ambitious and vast.
When we were thinking of surreal things, it was a bit of a challenge because how do you make something surreal? For me, is putting familiar
Oh my God.
things out of
Huh?
context. What is
That
the
looks
thing when you
sick.
turn the corner that you are not
That's
expecting?
definitely witness
So
memory.
that's when we play with scale, we play with unexpected
Right.
things, repetition.
There's this awesome piece of concept art that is like this massive ghost in the horizon, and you just like go over there and it's just like broken down in the middle, and it's just weird in a way that is unsettling but at the same time feels very visceral.
Another one that we used was body parts. And it sounds a bit strange because we didn't want to do body horror.
Sounds like it.
So I was taking screenshots from the game and just trying to find silhouettes and things that would look surreal. And I started replacing all the trees with hands. So all the limbs were made out of fingers coming out and eyes were on the floor. And I do remember our direction was like that, like more hands.
Are there hands holding up the freeway in which we were born? Yes. You'll recognize it instantly, and then almost as quickly, you'll realize you've never been here before.
I definitely feel like there's some aspects of the Pale Heart where like, this is freaking weird and scary. I want to take that risk. I want to push a little bit of what expectations of a destination can be, and I hope that players love that.
As players progress, they get to see more influence of the Witness, not just on the Traveler, but also on the races that it's interacted with that we've seen so far.
The Dread are a result of the Witness experimenting with the light. So while it's inside the Pale Heart, it's able to access the light as it's trying to siphon it. It is using that light to create and alter new and different combatants. And so we've encountered some of these members before. Now we have a name for them.
The new Dread units. They're using a new language, collaborating with narrative. We went through and used this constructed language tool to generate different phrases and figure out like grammar structures and other things. The pyramid language that the new Dread units speak is actually translatable. So players, if they're really interested in figuring out what the pyramid units are saying, could decipher these.
Is it giving me a
Yeah.
zombies vibes? The apocalypse language.
The husks are an interesting addition to Destiny because you've never fought anything like them before.
We talked about, oh yeah, it needs some big weapons. Like, it needs to look like this thing is serious business. They wanted a bit of a secondary unit on it, so like a 2-in-1. As the sketches were progressing, we were kind of like, oh, this feels like it's sentient. And we just love the idea.
We had all these different sound effects in our library of water bladders that make some really cool sounds when you're shaken. We used some sounds of slapping jello too. So that was kind of the foundation for the husk. We have all these real physical sounds that come together and feels like an alien moving around in the stomach of this thing. The collaboration between the different disciplines and the trust we have for each other. At the end, it comes out better than anybody could have made individually.
Okay.
There's a moment where you realize, looking at the final shape, that it's not just a story about the Guardian's journey. It's also kind of the story of Destiny's journey. It starts in a place of uncertainty and challenge, and then it changes and evolves, and it proceeds forward into the unknown. And as you get closer to the final shape, those two experiences converge. We know where we're going, we know where we're aiming for.
I feel very confident about the love and the work and the thoughtfulness that everyone working on this release put into it. And I think it's inevitable that when people start going in and experiencing all these different things that make up this expansion, I think they're gonna see it.
I won't lose another soldier in this war.
Oh shit, he just tried to scream. To the right. No, imagine. That's good in. Damn. Did you see him? He was like flapping like a denim jacket to I think that's the wings for the grip.
The Dread. Yeah.
That's funny.